Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Akshat here, your host, back with another video. This is part 2 of us solving through the Sysco machine on the HackSmarter platform. It is a medium rated Active Directory machine, and if you guys haven't watched the part 1 yet, I highly suggest you to watch the part 1, guys. But even if you haven't watched the part 1, you will learn a lot here. So without any further delays, let's just get started, guys. I'll give you a brief overview of what we did in the part 1. We started the machine and we connected to the VPN. On scanning, we were able to find that there is port 80 running over here, which is a web server, and going on to the web server, we found some users on the website. These were our probable users. We created a text file and saved these usernames and used a tool, username generator, and created some probable usernames that would be in the Active Directory domain. And then we tried to asrep roast a user, and we were successfully able to compromise a user named Jack Dowland, and his password, we were able to crack it. And then we collected the Bloodhound loot in the last video. Now from here, I am going to start my Bloodhound and we will analyze the Bloodhound and see what are our probable attack paths or something that we can think of. For you guys who do not know about Bloodhound, I would like to explain or think about Bloodhound in a way that you can think of it as Google Maps of Active Directory. It helps you map out your attack paths, and it is kind of very useful tool when it comes to Active Directory, and I have always used it, and it is something that I have always said in my previous YouTube videos as well. Now let's just get started. I would like to show you guys what it is. Without saying much about it, I will show you the use of it. So the command for using Bloodhound is sudo bloodhound start. This is for the new updated version of the Kali Linux. In the earlier one, you needed to start a new 4J database, connect it to Bloodhound, and there was a lot of things of that sort. But now it is pretty much easy, and there is also a Bloodhound CLI, which is the one you can start in a Docker container. That is very much easier, and I use that on my other machines. And the Bloodhound is starting here, so we'll just give it a second. And by the way, I'll just give it for your information that I am connected to the VPN and my machine is running. Now we are going to use that collected Bloodhound loot and just ingest it in the Bloodhound. So it is on the local host, and we will log in. I've saved my admin password because it just feels so hard to remember the password. So now my Bloodhound is ready, and as you guys could see it over here, this is our Bloodhound loot. This is a zip file containing all the JSON files. It contains these JSON files contain information all about your domain, which is the users, computers, groups, etc. And this is kind of a graphical representation of all that JSON files. I'll upload that here. We'll go to desktop, and I think it is there in my HackSmarter video and Sysco. Yeah, this one. Now I'm going to open it and use upload, and let's just give it a minute or so for ingesting the data. Just ignore this, all the ones here. These are all my previous uploaded Bloodhound data. I have to clear it, but just felt a bit lazy kind of thing to remove all of that. Just ignore it. And while that is running, when we see a web server running, it is very important to look at the directories, or the hidden directories I would say rather, that may be a useful path and that is worth looking at. So we are going to run dirbuster, or run a directory brute force kind of a thing to find out the hidden directory. I'll just copy the URL here, and on my new terminal, this one, I'll clear this up, and then I will use dir search, and we specify the tag u for the URL and paste it here and hit enter, guys. Now we will let that run for a while and we will check if our Bloodhound data is ingested. Yep, it is done. It is just analyzing. It will take less than a minute. Yeah, so it is completed, guys. Now our user is jack.towlin. We have already marked him as on. This is just because I have done the machine already, so it would show that way. And when we see here, one thing to always look at when you see a Bloodhound data is the outbound object control. That is the one where this current user has the permissions. But here, as of this machine, we can see that there is no outbound object control that this user have. Now the next very important thing to take a look at is what are the groups that this user is a member of. Okay, so when we see here, it is a very default thing, is an authenticated user, everyone users, domain users, and pre-Windows compatible things. Okay, that is completely alright. That is a normal user would have all these things. Now we will use the cipher queries, which are the built-in cipher queries. We need to look at all the domain admins. We need to have an idea of who is the domain admin, or we would say it as tier 0 asset. Sorry, we want to see that all domain admins. Just ignore this one. Yeah. So it is the administrator default built-in it is a built-in default administrator account. Now one thing we need to take a look at is all the Kerberos stable users. There are none in the Sysco machine. Now as we can see, there are the users which we already had a look was greg.shields. Let's see about this user, what he has the permissions. We do see that this Greg Shields has an outbound object control over a default domain policy, which is he's a member of the group policy creator who has a generic all, which means he controls this GPO. Now since we saw that we do not have anything interesting in the context of our present user, or the controlled user I would say, we would like to see the dir search and see what are some interesting directories that we would have find out. We do see that there is an asset, but we do have a 301 here, which means we are getting redirected. One thing worth looking at is index.php. Okay, so it is a 403 access denied, and we do see a round cube instance. Interesting. Now I would like to have a look at this. This seems out of the ordinary, guys, for your information, because if you see in the whole directory listing, we do see that this gives us a 200 response. So it is worth taking a look at always whenever you see something like this. So we go ahead and use this way and use the round queue instance and hit enter. We do see a login portal here, guys. Now, one thing that is very obvious, guys, and we do have only a single user credentials, and it is worth taking a try and see if this user is active on this machine on the round cube instance. So let's check. It is jack.dowland and the password was musicman1. We hit enter, we wait for it. Okay, login fail. Okay, I remember the wrong password. I think I need to check with Sysco. Yeah, it is musicman1. So it is I will copy that password and paste it over there and hit login and just wait for a sec. And we do see a inbox here. Now, what is roundcube? For your information, or for everyone, the roundcube instance is something like an email. It is very obvious. Let's just have a look at what it is. Roundcube webmail. Yeah, it is worth taking a look at that what you are targeting exactly. When you see something like this, it is worth looking information on the Google or on the internet for that matter to know about your target. So Roundcube is a browser-based multilingual IMAP client with an application-like user interface. It provides full functionality you expect from an email. So basically it is an email account. You have it. Now we need to check some mail if we do have something. We do not have anything. Do we have anything in the inbox? No. Let's see a sent item. We do not have anything in this. Okay, we do have it. Now what it is, let's check. Double click on it, guys. Wait for a bit. Yeah, so there is a user named Murray, okay, which says we have sent it to them, which the message says like, hello, client had made a ticket on the new router you configured recently and provided the attached configuration file. Can you please check it and see what the issue may be and remote into the client router to fix it? Thanks, help desk tier 1 team. Okay, that's interesting. We do have a .cfg file, as we can see it right here. It is worth taking a look at because the message says, can you please check it and see the issue? Now, whenever something like this you encounter on a machine, this is a kind of a hint for your next user or the next target account. Worth taking a look at. So we are going to download this as well. Okay, so we do see something like a router configuration because this said router2.cfg, which stands for configuration file. Now one thing worth looking at is, let's check something here. No service, password encryption, hostname. enable secret file and something like this. Now we do see this is the whole configuration, but one thing that stands out here is this one. This seems to be a hash, but not really sure what kind of a hash is it, because not I encountered this. So we check using hashcat. I'm going to use hashcat for that. You can use any other cracking tool or anything of that sort. Now I will use a nano hash.text, paste it in here, and I'm going to use hashcat hash.text. This means that this is an auto detect mode. I'll just clear that up for you guys. Yeah, so this is the command that I'll be using. This is the hashcat hash.text, which is your file, and I'll be using a rocky.txt file because most of the machines use the passwords and hashes from there. So we hit enter. Let's check if it is something. Okay, if I remember correct, I missed a dot here. I removed that, and that is the one thing that I missed. I'll do that again, and we'll use the dash show flag because I have already cracked it. You do not need to do that. And see guys, we have got a password. This is a password for sure, and when you go to the site, it says Lane Moore. So it seems like a password for this user, and let's just confirm that as well. We'll use nxc smb sysco.local, and we'll use a tag u flag Lane Moore, and we will confirm if this password is valid, which it is. Yep, it is a valid password. Now let's check what are the shares available to us to see if we do have any interesting permissions over any of the share. Meanwhile this is running, I will head over to Bloodhound and check what permissions does this user have. Okay, we do not see any outbound object control, guys. So the one more thing which I told you guys was to see the members, which like what groups is this user a member of. So we check that as well, and we see that he is part of the RDP users group. So which means that we are able to use the GUI and use X3 RDP. We are going to do that. Sysco.local, and the user would be Lane.Moore, and the password would be this one. We would like to ignore the certificate and do a dynamic resolution. So we do have the RDP access now. let's just wait for it to load for perfectly. And here you have the user.text. I'm not going to show you the flag here just because I do not want to, and I have shown you the ways to do it, and I am pretty sure that you would like to do it yourself. Now for the next part, which is the privilege escalation part to the root user, we need to use something interesting, because when we saw on the machine, the intro said, and I even stated that as well, that antivirus, which is a defender, is running on this machine, which means that it is going to block out all the default attack paths. So we need to enumerate manually and see if there are any interesting files present here. So we will do that as well. Now one thing, looking at desktop, nothing interesting. Documents, downloads, documents. We do have something in our documents. There is a notes.txt file. Let's check that, which says SSH to 10.0.0.1 router with credentials provided by sysadmin to update ACLs for HS company. Fix errors in config provided by tier 1 for Minicorp's new office router. Okay, so this is an application. Now let's check what is this. This is not really sure what exactly it is, but let's give it a look. Let's check on internet for that. Putty application SSH. It is a free open source terminal emulator and network file transfer application that acts as a client for the SSH. Okay, interesting. Now let's go ahead, and since the notes.txt file said us to do SSH, and there is also a shortcut file. Now one thing looking at here is, let's try clicking on that and it goes blank. Let's wait for a while or see if anything happens. No, this does not work, so we want to close it, and I will look at something like the properties of this, compatibility, security, and let's look at the shortcut file as well, properties. Now okay, we do see something here, target, see user lane mover, desktop, documents, putty.exe, SSH netadmin at the machine IP, which is a router of course, and there is a user netadmin pw, there is a password. Now we do have a password here. It is worth taking a look at, and I'll copy that and paste it here in the file. And we do have a users.txt, I think. Let's create a proper user.txt. The user was I need to check, NXC SMB Sysco.local tag u, and we use dash users flag just to confirm the users in the domain. it is the built-in administrator guest KRBTGT. Yeah, so there are 3 users. These are the ones. So I'll create user.text and lane.more, jack.dowlin, and greg.shields. Now we're going to save it. Now we are going to reuse that password. We are going to paste it here. And for the U, we'll specify the users.text and hit enter. Just a second. We will use the -- continue on success flag and the no root flag. Now let's just see if we do get a valid user. We do get a logon failure for 2, and we do have a user, guys. We have a user, Greg Shields. Now we are going to head over to Bloodhound and see the permissions for that user, Greg.Shields. He has an outbound object control rail now worth taking a look at, and we can see that he has generic right over the default domain policy. Now for this we need to do a bit of research, and with a bit of googling stuff you will find this out, I'm pretty sure. We will also be taking a look at in the next video, guys, because I do feel this is a natural stopping point. And from here, what I want you guys to do is try the machine out yourself and compromise the whole domain and tell me how was the machine and how did you find my videos, guys. Now with that said, thank you guys, thank you for watching, and do hit the like, share, subscribe icon and do all the YouTube algorithm things, and hope to see you in the next one, guys. We'll see you soon in the next one. Thank you.